Armand had forgotten how to smile. For years, the memory of his wife was both a cherished ghost and a heavy anchor. After she was gone, he didn't just lose a partner, he lost the part of himself that knew how to connect, to feel, to truly live. He existed, breathing in and out, moving through the days like a shadow, but he wasn't alive. He had built walls around his heart, tall, cold, and seemingly unbreakable. It was his fortress of solitude, a place where no one could hurt him again, but also a place where no joy could ever enter. He survived, but he had long forgotten what it meant to live. One evening, as a steady rain washed over the city, blurring the streetlights into soft, hazy glows, Armand was walking home, his collar turned up against the chill. He saw her then, small figure huddled on a park bench, clutching a piece of paper that was now soaked and drooping in her tiny hands. It was a drawing, its colors bleeding into one another. He hesitated. His first instinct, cultivated over years of isolation, was to keep walking, to mind his own business. But something about her stillness, her quiet resolve in the downpour, made him stop. He approached cautiously, his voice rusty from disuse. "Are you lost?" he asked, the words feeling foreign on his tongue. The little girl looked up, her eyes wide and startlingly clear. They held a depth that seemed far beyond her years. "No," she replied, her voice soft but steady. "I'm waiting." Armand furrowed his brow. Waiting for whom? The rain continued to fall, a gentle rhythm against the silence that stretched between them. "For someone who doesn't come anymore," she said, her gaze returning to the soaked drawing. In that simple, heartbreaking statement, Armand saw a reflection of his own soul. Her pure, innocent eyes mirrored the same cavernous emptiness he had carried within himself for so long. It was a loneliness he recognized instantly, a quiet ache that transcended age. He didn't know what compelled him, but instead of walking away, he sat down beside her on the wet bench. The rain didn't seem to matter anymore. They sat in silence for a long time, two strangers sharing an unspoken understanding. He didn't offer empty platitudes or try to fix her sadness. He just sat with her, offering the simple, profound gift of his presence. Slowly, over the days and weeks that followed, a bond began to form. She was there at the park bench almost every day, and so was he. Her name was Lily. She didn't talk much about the person who no longer came, and he never asked. Instead, she filled their time with other things. She would tell him silly jokes that made no sense but were funny, simply because of the way her nose crinkled when she laughed. She would point out shapes in the clouds, seeing dragons and ships where he only saw vapor. She showed him the world through her eyes, a world that was still full of wonder, still full of possibilities. Her laughter became a sound he started to look forward to, a melody that chipped away at the stone walls around his heart, on his older balm on his old wounds. She didn't try to teach him how to be happy with grand speeches or profound advice. She taught him with her presence. She reminded him, in her own quiet way, that hearts don't just stop working when they're broken. They just wait. They wait for the right touch, the right person, the right moment, to start beating again, to feel again. Through Lily, Armand began to rediscover the simple joys he had long forgotten. The warmth of the sun on his face, the taste of a shared ice cream cone, the sound of leaves crunching under his feet. He started noticing the world again, not as a gray, bleak landscape, but as a place vibrant with color and life. He found himself caring, not just for Lily, but for the stray cat that roamed the park, for the elderly woman who fed the pigeons, for himself. He was relearning how to connect, not just with others, but with his own dormant emotions. Hope, a feeling he thought was lost to him forever, began to bloom in the barren garden of his heart. And with hope came love. Not the same love he had for his wife. That was a chapter of his life, beautiful and complete in its own right. This was a new kind of love. It was the protective, paternal love he felt for Lily. It was the love for the community he was slowly becoming a part of again. It was the love for life itself, in all its messy, beautiful, and unpredictable glory. Lily didn't replace what he had lost. Instead, she opened a new door in his heart, a door he thought was sealed shut forever. She showed him that he was capable of loving again. Armand finally understood. Healing doesn't always come from trying to piece back together what was broken. It doesn't come from the people who caused the pain or from trying to erase the past. Sometimes healing comes from the most unexpected places, from the purest souls who enter our lives and remind us of a fundamental truth. Love never truly dies. It doesn't vanish or fade away, it only waits. It waits patiently for someone brave enough to open their heart and feel it again, through a little girl with sad eyes and a hopeful smile. Armin didn't just learn how to smile again, he learned how to live again. He learned how to love again. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that explores the power of human connection. Remember, no matter how dark it gets, there is always a light waiting to be found.